What's cracking, Naptown? I'm coming at you with a different point of view today. Like, that's the truth. You know what? Gratitude. We started off with gratitude. What are we grateful for today? Well, I just heard that my landlord is going to put my place up for sale. And that sucks, but I'm sure grateful I got to live here for, I don't know, 11 years. If it all goes wrong and I have to move, I'm going to be pretty grateful that I got to live in the best neighborhood in my city for 11 years. You know, there's a French bakery up the way, there's a German butcher shop up the way. It's fantastic. And if I have to leave it all, and I don't have any idea who the next landlord's going to be. I don't have any idea what's going to happen. If I have to leave it all, I'm just going to stick with being grateful for the time I got here, because it's nice, man. Like, if I want to go try something out, there are like 5 places on the main street that have open mic nights. You know what I mean? And that's not the kind of luxury you're ever going to get in rural Indiana. So Fletcher Place, you've been real good to me. I've never lived anywhere as long as I've lived here. So this really feels like home. Yeah, that's the truth. All right. As an example, I went to 4 elementary schools. I came from a jacked up family. So when you go to 4 different elementary schools, you know things are fucked. You know what I mean? But the truth is that that's just because I come from trash people. Like, this isn't the gratitude part. We're moving on from the gratitude part now. I really come from trash people. And that's a hard pill to swallow. But there's no other way to put it. Example. I went to visit a couple of my uncles the other day, 2 months ago, because one of my uncles was dying. That's what happens when you get old. And so I went over there and I was playing guitar for him a couple times a month for several months. And the first time I went over there, I said to my uncles, you know, I bet you two thought I'd be dead or in prison by now. And, you know, just dead honesty, my uncle looks at me and says, yeah, you got dealt some low cards. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I did. I got dealt some low cards. And I don't know how I made it out. You know? I guess my girl. Like, that's really the only thing that's the only place I can put the blame for me being alive right now. Like, if I hadn't seen a family that wasn't a total piece of trash, if I hadn't been exposed to a family that was normal, even if somewhat flawed, just a normal, regular human family, well, I'd be dead right now. Like, I was never gonna live past 40. That was not the plan. And the world's plan for me was to be dead or in prison by now. Like, that's the fucking truth. Example. Just example. By the time I was 7 years old, I had a 13-year-old brother, and he was the only one around. My mom was fucking gone. Just gone. She was, who knows? She was at her boyfriend's house. She was taking trips with her boyfriend. I barely saw my mom. And then, things started going bad. And my brother started going to jail. My 13-year-old brother started going to jail. And nothing changed. My mom still just didn't give a shit. She just disappeared. And so, by the time I was 10 or so, it was me and my 16-year-old brother in Speedway in an apartment complex. And that was it. Who knows where my mom was? Like, example. I don't know how many times I said that. Example. I once skipped school for, I want to say, 4 solid weeks. And here's why. I had a really good reason. Some TV program, some television channel, back in the day we had channels, and I want to say it was the USA Express or something, and they advertised that they were going to play all the Thundercats episodes in order. And I was like, I got to get in on that. And so I just started skipping school. And, like, a couple weeks in, the principal of the school called. And I was like, yeah, I've been sick. And he was like, and your mom knows you're not coming in? I was like, oh yeah, big time. And it was as easy as that. And so I was pretty young, right? I was 10 at this point. And so I just stayed home every day and watched Thundercats. And after a month, I'm not exaggerating. I skipped school for a month, and then I just started going back to school because I realized nobody fucking cared. So I just started going back to school on my own. And the teachers didn't give a shit. The principal didn't give a shit. Parents didn't give a shit. That was just how things were. And so I was a little rat fuck city kid running around Copper Tree, which, spoiler alert, not nice apartments. And so I don't know how I didn't go to jail back then. Like, I was stealing anything I could put in my pockets. I was stealing toys. I was stealing studded collars for dogs. Anything I could give to my brother for him to sell for drugs. That's how I spent my time. And my brother, he spent his time huffing rubber cement. And he had a trash can next to his bed full of rubber cement bottles that he had been huffing all day, every day, for months. And, you know, if we didn't have money, I'd just go stealing rubber cement because that's what he wanted. And when you're 10, nobody's gonna check your pockets for rubber cement, you know? So I'd go up to Hook's Drugs, swipe some rubber cement, take it home, you know? Then I'm a good brother. And so, without getting, for the record, I haven't told you any of the bad parts. No, that's the jacked up thing. At this point, I haven't told you about the bad parts. Wow. Can you imagine? Most people would describe my parents as monsters. If you took a survey of what is the most despicable, disgusting thing you could do to kids, most people would say the stuff that my parents did to kids is the worst thing you can do to them. And so, when I had single-digit years, my parents narrowly escaped prison. And that's jacked up. And then the police just left me in that house. They just left me in that house. Like how, what? So I was going to therapy before I could talk. Imagine. So, some crazy how I made it through that. And honestly, I've got a good ass life now. And I don't know how that's possible. And I don't know. I don't know how I lived through this stuff. And I don't know how anyone could make it through that stuff. But here we are. We made it. And, you know, not all of us. I made it. And one of my brothers offed himself when he was 20 or so in the back of a pickup truck with a rifle. And two of my brothers they're fine. They're fine. I'm sure they're fine. I haven't heard from them in decades. But some crazy how, and I feel guilty about it, just so you know. Like, I know that I shouldn't. There's nothing I can do to fix anything. But you always, I feel pretty guilty that somehow I got a nice life. And that was not what my brothers got. And I didn't have any faith that I could possibly have a nice life until I was like 35, 40 years old. I was just ready to die until I was 35. You know? And so I'm gonna have to wrap this up. My battery's gonna die. Oh, this is not even a guitar practice diary right now. What happened? Anyway, you know what? I'm gonna try to talk about guitar stuff for just a second. I've been listening to that new Whitney Houston song. I say new. Some Australian guy sings a duet with Whitney Houston. And I guess I just like Whitney Houston enough that I don't care if there's some Australian boy singing on the track. But I don't think he needs to be there. The truth is, like, Caleb Scott, that Scott guy, he's not adding anything to a Whitney Houston song. You know what I mean? And they had to detune everything to B so that he could sing it, because she sings it in C. So they detuned her voice and everything. Hey, buddy. That's one of the squirrels I give peanuts to. Where'd he go? Oh, I lost him. Oh. See that guy? I give peanuts to that guy. He's a real nice guy. He likes me. And so I've been ate up with that Whitney Houston song that Australian boy been singing. And so I've been learning it, and it's fun. And what I noticed was I have been trying to get good at guitar for so long that it took me longer than expected to be able to sing the song while I was playing. Singing and playing, I don't even have to think about that. I've never had to think about that. It just is natural. But wow. It took me like 35 minutes to be able to figure out where to make my mouth move. And so I need to start voraciously learning songs, because it must have just been too long since I've gone through an era where I learned a bunch of songs real fast. It must have just been too damn long. And so, on the guitar front, while I'm drying out, sobering up, I've been trying to sing and play more, because I got away from that. I always used to hate it when people told me they liked my voice, because I was always like, man, it's so hard to play guitar. What do you care about my voice? Have you seen me play? And they're like, yeah, but who cares? You know, that's the reality. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter if you're good at guitar. People like you to sing. And so, as I sober up, I'm going to learn some songs, and I'm going to sing them, and I'm going to write a bunch of songs, and I'm going to learn them, and I'll see how that goes, right? I mean, I don't know how this video went, but I've been talking for 18 minutes. That's bad. That's bad. So, I'm not saying for sure that I'm going to post this, but I might. Now, the other brother of mine that made it out clean, he got adopted. He never met my parents. And how fucking lucky is that? Wow, I can't even tell him how lucky he is. You know, if he didn't get adopted, hey, Gwendolyn, if he didn't get adopted when he was a baby, he'd have been in that Epstein shit too. You understand? Fuck me sideways. So God bless him. He's like a totally rational, normal human being, real friendly, good to talk to. He looks just like me. Creepy. None of my brothers look like me. I'm not even sure they are my brothers. But that guy, Ken, man, he looked just like me. It's messed up. He's definitely related to me. And so, oh man, the squirrels are lining up now. I better give them some peanuts. And so, as I move forward, I might add a lot more personal honesty to this channel. We'll see, right? It's pretty hard stuff. It's pretty hard stuff to talk about. But when I watch the soft white underbelly, I'm like, these guys ain't been doing nothing. You know? You think it was hard having anxiety? My parents used to invite strangers over to fuck their kids. You understand? Anxiety. Fuck you. I have anxiety. Boy, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to post this. I'll see you next time. Love you guys.